our opening government only explained about the harmful given to the society, which are mostly about the beauty standards. But ladies and gentlemen, here the closing government will extend to more harmful factors caused by the K-pop industry itself, which is mostly affects the key idol itself, not only the society, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, before we move into our argumentation, we would like to give some rebuttals to the opening opposition. Ladies and gentlemen, they said that the K-pop industry will create more innovative and varied beauty standards so that the people can choose. But ladies and gentlemen, this is actually worsen the situation, worsen the status quo, because basically the trends are actually keep changing. If actually we are currently going into the Western culture, we will try to tan our skin, we will try to have lip fillers, but whenever the K-pop industry currently increase again, so we will move on into more lighter skin, or maybe we should have smaller face, and that is really worsen the situation because basically people will not have their own beauty standards. And then ladies and gentlemen, they also said that by opposing the K-pop industry, it will give the harm to the agency because basically the agencies are doing the production based on the people demand. But ladies and gentlemen, here we believe that opposing K-pop industry doesn't mean that it will immediately make the K-pop industry itself vanish. But ladies and gentlemen, with the current status quo, the K-pop industry, we believe that it will be much better in our side of the house. Because first one, people still need entertainment, and true fans won't leave their idol, right? The fan base will still be there because basically they are the true fans, right? So basically we think that the demand will still there, the demand will still exist, and since that agencies still need money, they will keep producing the musics without having that culture to have the beauty standards of K-pop itself. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the opening opposition also said that K-pop can encourage other ethnicity to do the same. But ladies and gentlemen, this is very harmful because basically the other ethnicity will actually try to do the similar persecution towards women because but it will also give us more difficulties to actually decrease it because basically they might have more complicated situations there comparatively with the K-pop industry that already famous, right? And then, ladies and gentlemen, moving on into our argumentation. First thing first, the thing that is actually forgotten by the opening bench is that misogyny is actually happening in the K-pop industry, ladies and gentlemen. Women get more hate whenever they are being feminist, or they are dating with another idols, or maybe simply just because they are reading a book about feminist things. For example, Irene from Red Velvet, she was only reading a book called Kim Ji-young, and she got a ton of hate. And it means that the misogyny is really happening currently in the K-pop industry. So that's why it is very harmful. And also, the women K-idol actually get different treatment comparatively with male idols because from the society, because basically over a similar criminal acts that they have done. For example, like drunk driving and drug use, or for example, that simple thing which is dating itself. The male idol will get lesser hate compared with the female idols, right? Like you know Taeyeon and Baekhyun, what was happening in 2014, right? And then moving on to the second argument. We know that in our status quo right now, K-pop idol is actually a desirable thing to do, but the industry currently actually force them to have unrealistic standards that they need to follow. They need to be very perfect, both in appearance, both in also in their skills. But actually, ladies and gentlemen, they also forgot that this industry also stressed on how they look like instead of what they can actually do. Like whether they can sing or they can dance, they are more likely be stressed on how they look like, whether their visual is good or not. And then this is actually backlash with the feminist movement ideas because basically feminist movement thinks that not all bodies are beautiful, but beauty does not matter, right? So we think that it is actually backlash with this idea. And then, for example, like an idol which have a skilled which have a really good skill, which is akdong musician. They are quite famous because of their skill, but they are not more famous like Blackpink, even if they are actually under the same agency, just because they have no better appearance compared with Blackpink, right? Because and it means that even if an idol have a skill, they will not be famous as the other one with a good appearance. But and also, even if they are actually famous, they will still be discriminated by their own agency, right? Like what happened within AKMU and Blackpink itself. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, it will also oppress the women among themselves because basically they need to have a good appearance even if they already have skills. Because basically those individuals who have those members who have good appearance, they will set as the visual of the group. They will set as the center of the group. And actually, it will overshadow those members who are actually skilled one, who actually can sing, who actually can dance, which is actually the essential of the group of the girl group itself. And then it will not sustainable, ladies and gentlemen, because basically once this visual member got out from the group, and then usually the group have tendencies to actually go on long hiatus, and at the end of the day they will disband. So we think that it will not be sustainable if we didn't oppose this current K-pop industry situation. And then this is how the opening bench also failed this debate, because basically aside of appearance or beauty standards that they mentioned several times, there are actually so many factors which is much more important, like age, personality, and private life. And I will tell about it more in our third argumentation. And because basically why K-pop industry is very harmful for the celebrities itself, ladies and gentlemen, because basically it portrays how the idol woman itself should be a perfect individual, both in their appearance, age, personality, and also their private life. They have no private life at all, ladies and gentlemen. And it will give harmful because of why? First thing first, this idol will hold back their own feelings. They will not follow the lifestyles that they want you to. They need to follow lifestyles that the people want you to, that the market demand for it. And then it will give different kind of objectification, because basically it will set that people will think that the key idol itself is owned by the people, not by themselves, not by their own self, ladies and gentlemen. And it is very harmful. And then it will also lead to mental illness. It will give mental illness whenever an idol actually have their different perspective regarding this current situation of K-pop industry, and it will lead them also to suicidal talk, because basically they got hateful speech. That's why we think that the feminist movement should oppose the K-pop industry currently. We proudly propose. Thank you.
I'm going to start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Madam and Mr. Speaker, I think the thing that we have to highlight in this debate is that the clarification of what the opening bench has brought to this debate and why CG is the best in this debate, and that's why we should win. But first of all, let's talk more about this narrative that is being brought by the opening bench, both government and also the opposition. What they're trying to sell to you, they're trying to sell to this debate is basically that the idols here is all about the beauty standard. It's all about why women is taken a look at by the appearances and so on and so forth. But the CG brings to you a new very fresh perspective of how we actually should see these idols as human beings that they are. Now, what is the urgency? The urgency is something that's being missing from the opening bench that is brought by my member of government, is that the urgency is that now we know K-pop has become such a worldwide sensation, with BTS coming to Grammy, or with Blackpink coming to Indonesia, with Shopee doing all the dance that I don't like. But the point is that this is the time for us to realize that K-pop industry is actually very harmful and unhealthy, and why, as the feminist movement, we should aggressively oppose it. And again, from the opening government, they did not bring any kind of aggressivity. They did not explain what kind of aggressiveness that we should do, how aggressive we should be. But my member actually explained to you that why is it so harmful and why is it so dangerous. Now, class analysis here, as a whip, I'm going to do it. For the class analysis, basically what the opening opposition is trying to bring to this debate is the narrative that it's too hard to fight the beauty standards because every agency has a beauty standard by their own, and it's that the K-pop industry involves many more parties, such as tourism, such as country's image, and so on and so forth. That's why it would be extremely hard for us to fight. And lastly, they're trying to say that the K-pop industry can become an impetus, can become a the first thing, the pioneer for any kind of other ethnicity to make their own beauty standard. We say all of these ideas are very harmful and do not stand in this debate. Now, first class, when they're trying to say that basically the K-pop idol, the K-pop idol brings involves so many parties in this debate. We say exactly because K-pop idols bring so many industries in this debate, such as country's image or such as tourism, just like what my member has said before, that it can affect the image of the country itself if we keep continuing the system of laboring, slaving the idols without putting them as a human being that they are. My member has explained to you that this member do not have their own private life because of the misogyny and also because the fans or the society thinks that idols belong to them. We say no, that the idols belong to themselves, especially for the women. We can see that toward the hatred towards female performers in this debate is much more harmful compared to the men. For example, just like what member has said before, one of them even killed themselves just because they read a book about feminism and so on and so forth. It means that the urgency is here, and that's why we're trying to oppose it as the feminist movement. And if it involves many parties, it means that we can actually make the image better, we can make the tourism better, because what the opening opposition trying to say is that the unrealistic expectation that they say it's good, we say that it's not good, will affect the country's image, because people will see, for example, South Korea as a country that have unrealistic stuff, that people has to be beautiful and that they demand so much, and that means that any other country will see Korean or South Korea as a bad place to do work or to live in, and that's something that we do not want to happen, specifically as a feminist movement, because what we want is that the public's image of the idols should be welcoming, nice, without any kind of pretentious, like they have to be pure, they have to be no relationship, and so on and so forth. We say that it's something personal, something private, something that all human needs, and that's something that they should have as a human being and as a woman first and foremost. The second is that the K-pop industry basically said there are too many standards in this world that it's impossible for the feminist movement to combat all. We say that it is not true. If what the opposition is trying to say is that, it means that they have given up on the fight. Well, the feminist movement should always fight for the freedom, equality, and liberation of women. So by saying that, they're trying to kill the feminism itself, because they're saying that we should not fight it because it's too hard, let's just give up. That doesn't make sense in this debate. While under our side of the house, we can actually make the fight easier. Why? Because this is also the third class. We're going to stop or prevent any kind of happening in the future of regionalized or localized kind of oppression coming from the K-pop, because the opening opposition claimed that K-pop can serve as an impetus for any other ethnicity or country to make their own beauty standard, which is extremely bad, because it means that the feminist movement will have to fight them one by one. But instead, if we successfully tackle this issue on K-pop, we can prevent any kind, for example, African pop, Egyptian pop, and so on and so forth. It means that the feminist movement will have one less fight to do so, and that is much better, instead of having to fight localized, regionalized fight or oppression that is going to be extremely hurtful. And lastly, what we bring to this debate is that we explain the perspective that did not being brought by the opening government, because the opening government is basically trying to say that it is okay it's okay to blame the fans, because the fans are the one who give value to the idols. We say the one that give value to the idols are their capabilities, their skills to sing, to perform, instead of what the fans are trying to think about them. Like, the public image will follow if they have a good talent. But here is the thing. We see K-pop idols not because they're a good singer, but because they're good performers. We want to know about their daily life. That's why we have so many TV shows talking about their life. They do not sing in these TV shows. They just simply talk and so on and so forth. It means that their daily life has become the consumption of the public, and we do not want that. We want to sell this K-pop singer as singer who they are, instead of selling them as an object. This is another form of gratification and objectification of women that we should oppose for. So that's why CG explains to you all of the class analysis. We bring a new perspective that is exclusive. We see that we should fight the company, the agency, so that the agency will stop these kinds of things. And what will happen is that the idol will become more human, and if the idol became more human, it means that the fans will realize that these idols are human at the end of the day. And what's going to happen? Will the fan leave? No, they will not leave, because they actually love their fans. If they are a real fan, if they are not real fans, then they're just going to leave. So that means the profit will not lose, the company will still benefit, and everyone will win under CG's argument. That's why we are proud to propose. Thank you.